Welcome to Sonic Bros. Today I will go over the history of the Volo Museum Rock-a-Fire Explosion show. So first it starts with Chimpy's Pizza Safari, which opened in Libertyville, Illinois, and they had a Rock-a-Fire show, but this is now Volo's show. But the Antioch mechanism came from Chimpy's Pizza Safari. And the Sun and the Moon animatronic came from the Looney Birds Covington, Louisiana location. Then, for the premiere of the Rock-a-Fire documentary at the Orlando Film Festival, the Rock-a-Fire show was out and performing. It was a complete show set up in a trailer. It had all of the characters and most of the backdrops, and the masks were the same masks that the characters had on back in 1983. And this show was a temporary show for the Orlando Film Festival, and it was owned by a private collector in the area. And the serial numbers of the characters: Rolf and Earl 5-83-122, and I accidentally said 85 in there, but it's 83. Duke 5-83-2-15. Beach Bear 5-83-4-24. Fats 5-83-3-16. Mitzi 5-83-5-21. Billy Bob 5-83 6-21. Looney Bird 5-83-720. And I did say 85 on accident, but these characters were all made in 1983. And this show was for the Rock-a-Fire documentary, so this was around the late 2000s or early 2010s, probably. And the show was performing, and the guests watched the show and most likely enjoyed it. And yeah, this show was remained in storage after it got removed from the Orlando Film Festival. This show didn't look too bad, and the setup of it was very interesting. Then, around 2018, the show popped up on eBay for sale. It was complete. It had all of the characters, props, and others. And it was in pretty good condition. It came with prop characters and all. And Looney Bird's mask was the worst condition one. And the Rock-a-Fire show at Volo was in showroom 4, and it arrived around December 26th, and it said coming summer 2019. And this show was there for a very short time, and it was very interestingly displayed, and some of the props were still wrapped, and Looney Bird was hiding in his barrel. And this setup was pretty temporary, and the characters didn't perform, but Fats did perform once. So yeah, this show's placement wasn't the best looking, but the characters were in pretty alright condition. But have yet to be restored. And they didn't have enough room in the Showbiz Pizza place because of the four little shavers, the Volo pirates, and the other stuff in the Showbiz Pizza place. So yeah, they would have to remove that stuff probably in order to put the show, and also they're they're on a stage and it just wouldn't go the best. And here's a picture of them loading up the show from around 2018 or 2019. Then, around March of 2024, it was announced that the show would be back at Volo because it was in storage for many years because of Aaron Fechter's rules and policies. But he finally let them have the show out. And Jay, also known as Showbiz Midwest, and Ted Nerdbird also helped out with the show. Or I'm not sure if it's him that's also Ted Nerdbird or it's either both. I'm not sure, but anyways, they worked on the show, and they maintained the show and took a look at the characters' mechanisms, and they set up the show. But Billy Bob's Mac valves were in super bad condition because of rust and oil being on it, so Tech Nerdbird had to buy a new one to operate the Billy Bob animatronic character. And here's a picture of him working on the Mac valves of the Billy Bob character. Then on June 2nd, 2024, the show opened to the public and the stages got set up. Ropes was finished on May 18th. Center stage was finished on May 27th. And Billy Bob stage was finished on May 29th. And yeah, it was originally gonna open on June 1st, but it had to be canceled due to rain and poor weather. And there was a huge, huge crowd. There was so many Rockefeller fans traveling out of state just to see this show. It was a pretty big event and had a lot of positive feedback. And this is the second public Rockefeller show in America because the first one is in Billy Bob's Wonderland in Barbersville. So yeah. And I went here on July 18th, 2024. It was great to see the show perform. It was my first time seeing the Rockefeller. I just loved taking looks of the characters. It was pretty cool there. And it was awesome to see them perform for the first time in my life. And it's the first time I've ever seen a full Rockefeller or creative engineering animatronics. And this was just a really cool event. This was just a really cool show to see in person, and it was in pretty good condition, and they could play a good show. And Looney Bird did get a new mask because the old mask was in too bad condition, probably, and it might have melted. So they had to make a new Looney Bird mask, and it looks amazing. So yeah, the show is just awesome to see in general. And I took a video and a few pictures of it. This show was just pretty awesome, but some of the masks of the characters did get a little bit old, and Duke did have a rip in his mouth because he's masks from 1983 and the show runs oftenly. Thankfully, Volo also has an a car sale was placed, so they have enough money to run the show. and they bought Billy Bob a new mask, and I think Birthday Bird did get updated as well because his head was kind of squished in his body in the other picture, but this mask is good, and I think the paint job was done by Showbiz Midwest. And Beach Bear got a new mask and a new guitar design, and it looks pretty great. And the guitar design is a reminiscent of the Madison, Wisconsin Chuck E. Cheese's and Showbiz Pizza place. And Duke also got a new mask, which this mask does look pretty good as well. And they had Christmas and July events and Halloween stuff. And the show is seasonal because it shut down around November and up until around the summer or springtime, I think it's open around. So yeah, that concludes this episode of Sonic Bros. Peace out.